day, Caitlin Clark said, folks, forget what she's talking about. Today, I'm gonna run the show.
The drama surrounding Caitlin Clark has taken a darker, more alarming turn. What started as a rookie season filled with promise, flash, energy, has now devolved into a high-stakes saga of exhaustion, mismanagement, and quiet unraveling. This is no longer just about missed shots or tough losses. This is about a generational talent being strategically boxed in, emotionally drained, and physically targeted with no end in sight. The numbers from the Indiana Fever's recent loss to the Las Vegas Aces may read like any other box score. Clark went 7 for 20 from the field, 1 for 10 from 3, and had 8 turnovers, but they don't tell the full story with those stats. Mask is the erosion of confidence, the dissonance between player and coach, and the growing disconnect between Clark's talents and the system built around her. It's not just a cold streak, it's a slow implosion wrapped in the appearance of control. Watching Clark now is like watching a symphony being played on a broken piano. Her once electric pace has dulled, her joy is missing, and her body language screams louder than any post-game interview. She walks the ball up the court, something that was once unthinkable. Her passes are a second too late. Her movements are hesitant, calculated, and filled with caution, like someone constantly looking over their shoulder.
A lot of people are saying, oh, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin, and all this stuff.
It's not just the defenders elbowing her or the referees swallowing their whistles. It's the very infrastructure around her that's weighing her down. And at the center of that infrastructure stands head coach Stephanie White. Fans and analysts have begun to ask hard questions, the kind that aren't easy to ignore anymore. Why does the team look entirely lifeless when Clark isn't backpacking them to victory? Why has the motion offensive system, clearly incompatible with Clark's quick-trigger brilliance, become the hill Stephanie White is willing to die on? Every game feels like an endless loop of chaos masked as structure. Plays unfold like interpretive dance routines with no rhythm, no strategy, and no end in sight. Clark isn't playing basketball anymore. She's decoding riddles while being body-checked by defenders wearing invisible brass knuckles. The most heartbreaking part is that Clark herself has begun to speak out, albeit in a tone wrapped in professionalism. Her comments after the loss to the Aces were revealing. "I thought at times we could have played a little faster," she said, trailing off before adding, "That's on me." But everyone watching knew it wasn't just on her. The undertone was clear. This isn't how she wants to play. It's not how she should be playing. But when you're 22 in the face of an entire league, your honesty has to be folded into safe phrasing.
Feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball.
Still, the frustration is seeping out, whether she means it too or not, and what's worse, no one seems to be listening, from league officials to coaches, teammates to the referees. Everyone seems to be playing a different game, while Clark is left to crash test dummy. She gets blitzed more than any player in the league's history, yet draws fewer calls than anyone would believe. Opponents openly target her, screens are set like they're trying to teach her a lesson. Elbows fly, contact escalates, and the officials remain silent, like background actors in a play they've long lost interest in. If this were anyone else, the outrage would be deafening. But with Clark, the silence is strategic. The toxicity isn't just external, it's internal. Within the Fever, there's a dissonance that's impossible to ignore.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said.
Watching Clark glance toward the bench during games is like watching someone stare into a void. Stephanie White's sideline presence has gone from instructive to performative. There's no direction, only gestures. She points and yells vague instructions like someone ordering coffee in a language they don't speak. The offense has no shape. The defense is non-existent. Clark is a Ferrari being forced to drive through mud while being told it's all part of the process. And the fans, they see it, they feel it. This isn't the Indiana Fever team they were promised. With the kind of talent on this roster, young legs like Michaela Thompson, who could be used to ignite transition plays and hustle on defense. There's no excuse for the slow, dragging pace. The system is broken, but no one is willing to admit it. Or maybe they don't even realize it. That's even scarier. The public breakdowns are beginning to surface. Clark, usually so composed, now wears frustration like a second jersey. Her post-game demeanor, her slumped shoulders, and the flashes of visible discontent speak volumes. She's not just tired, she's suffocating. And it's not because she's out of shape or out of her depth. She's being slowly unmade, piece by piece. It's like a luxury watch being taken apart by someone who doesn't know how to put it back together.
Caitlin Clark reminded everybody who she is in the Fever win over the Wings in what was a blowout victory.
And then there's the media. The very machine that elevated her to mythical status is now standing idly by, offering lukewarm takes while she gets hammered night after night. They critique her shooting slumps without addressing the systems that suffocate her. They highlight her turnovers. Without acknowledging the chaos she's forced to manage, they treat symptoms, not the disease, in the league. The WNBA is too busy cashing in on the ratings boost she's brought to notice they're grinding their star into the hardwood. They begged for her spotlight, but now that it's here, they flinch from its heat. Let's be clear, this is not just about basketball. It's about betrayal, about a league that demanded excellence and then punished the person who delivered it. Clark doesn't need special treatment, she needs fair treatment. Needs to be protected from cheap shots, not fed to them. She needs a coach who understands that greatness doesn't flourish and control it. Flourishes in trust. What we're seeing is the slow motion undoing of a star, and everyone is pretending it's just a cold stretch. Clark is being dismantled in plain sight, and no one seems to care enough to intervene. Her legacy is at stake not because of her skill, but because of the environment she's trapped in. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is that we'll look back at these games not as growing pains, but as a missed opportunity to elevate a generational talent into legendary status. Even worse, the animosity from other players is reaching absurd levels. What began as competitive spirit has morphed into professional jealousy veiled as aggressive defense. Players aren't just challenging Clark, they're targeting her. They're trying to break her down emotionally, mentally, and physically. They jaw at her, elbow her, and celebrate when she stumbles. The fouls are choreographed. The crowd eats it up in the league. They let it happen because conflict sells, even if it poisons everything in the process. This isn't adversity. This is abuse. It's being done under the guise of development. And maybe, just maybe, Stephanie White isn't the villain. Maybe. She's just another figure in a long line of people who don't know what to do with Caitlin Clark. But her refusal to adapt, to protect, to empower is inexcusable. She is the coach. The system is her responsibility. And right now, that system is failing. Clark deserves better. The game deserves better. And if the WNBA doesn't realize that soon, they're going to lose the very thing that made this season historic. Clark can't carry this league on her back while being shackled to a broken playbook and bruised by every possession. She's trying to lead a revolution while being silenced by indecision. And what happens if she decides it's not worth it? What if she walks away? Because make no mistake, if she does, she won't be alone. The fans, the ratings, the sponsors, and the excitement will follow her. And the WNBA will be left staring at an empty spotlight, wondering why the light went out. Clark is not just a player, she is a phenomenon.